What I will be providing you and the fine gentleman of the Secret Service is a list of every threat made about the president since February 3rd, and a profile of every threat maker.
And these are, like, existing targets?
Like 99% are going to come from the bulk collection program, so upstream muscular tempora prison. Exhibit A. Oakland resident Justin Pinsky posted on a message board. Romania has a storied history of executing their leaders. Couldn't they do us a solid and take out Bush? Oh, this looks juicy. This is from a G-chat.
With the biggest python you've ever seen. How is this all possible?
Keyword selectors. Attack, take out, Bush. So think of it as a Google search, except instead of searching only what people make public, we're also looking at everything they don't. So emails, chats, SMS, whatever.
Can we look through his family?
Mm-hmm. How about his sister-in-law?
Yeah. What is that? Is that some video that she sent somebody?
No, this is live. Out of Paris.
What do you mean live?
Optic nerve? It's camera and mic activation. I wish we could take credit, but the Brits wrote it.
Activation?
Yeah, her laptop's off. Or it was, she just forgot to close it. Of course, how would she know? This shit is so sly, the webcam light doesn't even turn on. I always wonder what was under those.
When you're in positions of privileged access, like a systems administrator for these sort of intelligence community agencies, you're exposed to a lot more information on a broader scale than the average employee. And because of that, you see things that may be disturbing, but over the course of a normal person's career, you'd only see one or two of these instances. When you see everything, you see them on a more frequent basis. And you recognize that some of these things are actually abuses. And when you talk to people about them, in a place like this where this is the normal state of business, people tend not to take them very seriously and move on from them. But over time, that awareness of wrongdoing sort of builds up, and you feel compelled to talk about it. And the more you talk about it, the more you're ignored, the more you're told it's not a problem. Until eventually you realize that these things need to be determined by the public, not by somebody who was simply hired by the government. Any analyst at any time can target anyone, any selector anywhere. Where those communications will be picked up depends on the range of the sensor networks and the authorities that that analyst is empowered with. Not all analysts have the ability to target everything, but I, sitting at my desk, certainly had the authorities to wiretap anyone, from you or your accountant to a federal judge to even the president if I had a personal email.
NSA, CIA, FBI, can they get into my phone?
Yes.
Can they get into my laptop?
Absolutely.
iPad?
Anything, as long as they can dedicate people, money, and time to the target, they can get in.
And what kind of information can they get from my phone, for example?
Everything in your contacts list, every SMS message that you use, every place that's ever been, where the phone is physically located, even if you've got GPS disabled because they can see which wireless access points are near you. Every part of a private life today is found on someone's phone. We used to say a man's home is his castle. Today, a man's phone is his castle.
Clapper, I want to ask you about
Senator
what
Ron Wyden said, is the NSA collecting any kind of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans? And James Clapper sort of scratched his head.
No, sir.
And he said, no.
It does not.
They do not.
Not wittingly.
The most senior intelligence official in the United States of America raised his hand and swore an oath to tell the truth to Congress. And he lied on camera. He wasn't charged, despite the fact that that's a felony. He didn't even lose his job. He's still doing the same thing today.
Recently, there were attacks in Paris. What happens when you have a terrorist attack like that within security agencies, the NSA, for example?
I was working at the NSA during the Boston Marathon bombings investigation. And as it was playing on the news, myself and colleagues were in the cafeteria, and we turned to each other, and said, I'll bet you anything we already knew about these guys in the databases. And in Paris, I'm certain that the same conversation happened. And this is really the legacy of mass surveillance, is the fact that when you're watching everyone, you know who these individuals are. They're in the banks. You had the information you needed to stop, to prevent even the worst atrocities. But the problem is, when you cast the net too wide, when you're collecting everything, you understand nothing. We know for a fact that it is not effective for stopping terrorist attacks, and it never has been. The White House appointed 2 independent commissions in the wake of my disclosures in 2013 to review mass surveillance programs and go, all right, do these have value? Should they be changed? Should they be reformed? They looked at the evidence, the classified evidence, and they found, wow, despite the fact that this had been going on since 2001, it had never stopped a single terrorist attack in the United States.
Why should people care about surveillance?
Because even if you're not doing anything wrong, you're being watched and recorded. And the storage capability of these systems increases every year consistently by orders of magnitude, to where it's getting to the point you don't have to have done anything wrong. You simply have to eventually fall under suspicion from somebody, even by a wrong call. And then they can use the system to go back in time and scrutinize every decision you've ever made, every friend you've ever discussed something with, and attack you on that basis to sort of derive suspicion from an innocent life and paint anyone in the context of a wrongdoer.
A traitor to the United States.
Do you think he's a traitor?
I know he damaged the country, and the Obama administration will deal with it.
But do you think it's possible for one man to really damage the security of the nation?
I think he damaged the security of the country.
And when it comes to surveillance, there can be real-time understanding of what you're Googling.
I put the program in place to protect the country.